That better? I need a haircut. My head still looks silly. Oh well. Oh well. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Just me. All right. Let's see what happens.
The following information may make you feel smarter, but will not actually increase your IQ.
I got him!
So don't get cocky.
This is about what's going to happen.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, what happened to the baby on board signs and why did we have them? Also, a guy returns his car to the dealership in a very unusual way, and why McDonald's is getting a flood of fake reviews, and have you heard the Silent Night basketball game? All this and much more we discuss here on DeaconLive as we take you through the next 60 minutes or so and get you caught up on all the social news and viral videos and stuff you might have missed over the last 7 days, or we'll be talking about it here shortly. Now, everyone has known or is knowing about the whole Daniel Penny, and the verdict came out, found him not guilty on the actual account that they were trying to go for him with, and you're like going, well, you know, if you don't know what happened with the case, there was a gentleman by the name of Jordan Neely, and he was on the subway down in New York City, and he was a Michael Jackson impersonator and stuff, but I guess this day or something happened. He wasn't on his meds, or he's way off his meds, or he was on something. I believe they said he was on like K2. I'm not sure what that is, but if you guys know, well, there you go. And he said he wasn't afraid to go to jail. This is Jordan Neely talking. And you're like going, well, that's just hearsay. No. They interviewed a lot of people on the subway during this whole incident. And he said, I'm going to kill everybody on this subway. I'm not afraid to go to jail. Well, of course, this gentleman, I say of course, like we're expected to do this, but a gentleman by the name of Daniel Penny stepped up and said, oh, no, you don't. And he's a Marine, was in the Marines. I don't know why he's not anymore, but let's get a small little update. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video on our DeaconLive podcast channel over on YouTube, so you can check this out in real time as we're talking about it here. I'm going to switch over to camera. What camera am I going to? I got to figure out what video I'm going to play first. Let's find just a little bit of backstory of what actually happened from News Nation, and I'm going to go to camera 4 so we can see this and we can all be friends. So here we go.
NYPD officers bend down. They determine that Jordan Neely, in fact, has a pulse. Take a look.
So they were saying that the chokehold that Daniel Penny put him in killed him. But when the New York's finest got there, they said, no, he's got a pulse. He's got a pulse. So here we go.
You breathing, right?
Try it on the wrist. Try it on the wrist. This one.
You got a pulse.
They're blurring him out.
You breathing?
Yep.
Nah, I felt a pulse.
I got a pulse.
You got a pulse. You got a pulse.
The prosecutors say Marine veteran Daniel Penny didn't intend to kill Jordan Neely on a New York subway, but went way too far in trying to neutralize him. They argued Penny's, quote, indifference is what led him to disregard basic precautions and cause his death.
So if you're watching the video here, the way Daniel Penny had him, it's kind of like, you ever seen like the WCW, not WCW, the wrestling thing, not the wrestling thing, the extreme sports. What's the fucking name of it's called? Anyways, it escapes me right now. But Daniel Penny's laying on his back, and he's got Jordan Neely on his chest, and he's got both of his legs wrapped around his legs, Jordan Neely's legs, to keep him from getting away, and he's got his hands around his upper torso, and not necessarily around his neck, but kind of like up underneath his shoulders, underneath his arms, and around his neck at the same time. So it's kind of like around a half and half, and that's what's going on in this picture.
According to Daniel Penny, Jordan Neely was threatening to kill everyone on the train, that he was willing to go to prison for the rest of his life. Penny says he sprang to action, pinning Neely to the ground and putting him in a chokehold for 6 minutes. His lawyers say he acted in self-defense.
Chokehold is a very, very loose term. He was holding his upper torso. I know all the brothers out there going, why are you defending the white guy? I'm not defending the white guy. I'm just telling you the facts of what's going on. When you say chokehold, I think in the movie as in, let's switch back to me for a second. I'm thinking in the movie like when you choke someone, like you reach out and choke someone by the neck. Not necessarily like a wrestling move. You don't think a chokehold that way unless you're watching wrestling. But they're not watching wrestling. This is a live event going on. So see, where did I pick up right here?
They say they will introduce Neely's mental health issues and that he was high on the drug K2 at the time. The former Marine has pleaded not guilty. He faces up to 15 years in prison if convicted of second-degree manslaughter, up to 4 years if convicted of negligence.
Now you can see the EMTs are now starting to come in and now are like doing CPR on him. Now the cops didn't do it because they said, yeah, no, I got a pulse. Here comes the EMT. So within that time frame, Jordan Neely passed away. And so they are trying to blame Kevin Neely. That's another guy. They're trying to blame Daniel Penny. He says a lot of things as far as, he's been cleared. They couldn't get him for murder 1. They couldn't get him for murder 2 because it's not that kind of charge. They were trying to get him for manslaughter. And being in the prosecution, they had to go for a charge that would stick. And they knew as soon as they took away manslaughter and involuntary manslaughter, I think is what they charged him with, because it was involuntary. He didn't go out there to choke him to knock him out. And that wouldn't stick either because of this video that we just watched where the police said, no, I got a pulse. And then within that time, here comes the EMTs and, whatever K2 does to your body. And then Daniel Penny got online, had an interview. Let's go back to where we're going, camera 4. And goes to Fox Nation and actually was talking about what actually happened, what was going through his head. So don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video over on YouTube so you can see this. Here we go.
He was just threatening to kill people. He was threatening to go to jail forever, go to jail for the rest of his life. And now where I'm on the ground with him, I'm on my back in a very vulnerable position. If I just would have let go, now he turns.
Why is that a vulnerable position?
Well, if I just let him go, I'm on my back now. He can just turn around and start doing what he said to me.
Kill him.
So
Killing,
hurting.
And then just one more little follow-up video during this interview that he had on Fox Nation. So here we go.
What in you caused you to want to get involved?
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable.
He's a very nerdy looking guy.
Without it, I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. Mm-hmm. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed.
I don't know. He's kind of rambling there at the end. But, I mean, I understand what he was saying. He took it upon himself. He was trained. I don't know if he was trained in, like, subduing people or anything like that. But he was trained to, in hand-to-hand combat. They have to do that in the military. And now everyone's blaming him. We're letting our, the veterans can't win. The veterans can't, if they're at home and they're homeless, oh, you're a piece of shit. If you're alive and walking around with PTSD, just get over it. And this guy was like, I've been trained. This is my body. This is, they go through basic training. They go through all this stuff. And this was the way his body, his mental, and I'm talking about Daniel Penny, the Marine, reacts to a situation, a threat. he is, I don't want to say take him out because that's not the right way to go, but, handling a situation to subdue the situation. So, of course, Black Lives Matter comes out and they're like going, what's justice for this and what's justice for that and so on and so forth. Are they just pulling at strings? Yes, he did have him on the ground. Yes, he was going to kill people. Jordan Neely was mentally unstable. And Daniel Penny, stopped it. Unfortunately, that stop came to an end. Not under his watch. He let the guy go, and he was laying on the ground, and EMTs had to come in. So, is he a hero? I'm not gonna go so far as calling him a hero because a man did die, whether a mental case or not. A man did die. Did he stop something that might have happened on the train if he did not step in? Would we be reading the headlines? 3 dead and 12 wounded on a New York City subway? Probably. I'm going to say for the most part, yes, probably would have had that happen. But now the headline reads, ex-military guy kills black Michael Jackson impersonator on a train. And that's not the narrative of the story. So he's been found not guilty. He's going to go on. I'm sure there'll be civil charges. That's already, the ball's rolling on that as far as getting that lined up. So we'll see what happens there. I wish him well. I wish all the families well on both sides of the spectrum on that. All right, when we come back, those baby on board signs? I know, what a jump between what we're talking about and what we're actually getting into. Those baby on board signs, where'd they come from? I have no idea, but they were a big hit in the 80s. Everyone had them, so we'll dive into that story and how they came to be and why we had them. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. We'd love to hear from you, and the way you can be part of the show, you can be podcast famous, is go over to Prophet Radio, proud sponsors of Deacon Live and all the other fine programming that comes out of the studio. Go to prophetradio.com, Prophet radio.com. At the top of the page says, Be Heard. If you got a microphone on your device, your smartphone, if you got one of those Bluetooth things stuck in your ear and you have a microphone on it, you hit that little button and you can record a message. Comes right to our inbox. We broadcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town we like to call Marshville. You can be podcast famous. Your voice will come right into the studio. And I want to hear your opinion about the Danielle Penny story. If you have, if you agree, if you disagree, hey, everyone's fair game. You can tell us how you feel, or about any of the past shows that we've had over the last 10 years or so. Coming up on 11 years, a couple more months, 11 years we'll be doing this show. So get on board right now and let us know what you think, and you can be podcast famous going to Prophet Radio and be heard. Now, this gentleman right here is being heard right now. A truck thief steals a guy's truck and returns it within a couple days later, and the owner is completely shocked and surprised. Varun, Varun, the owner of a cafe called Katie Street in Auckland, New Zealand, was headed toward where he left his truck that morning after completing his day's worth of work, only to find out that his truck was gone. A neighbor's security camera revealed that in 5 minutes, when he had been inside his cafe, someone came up and stole his truck. So what's this guy's name? His last name is Chada. So Chada did the logical thing. Along with filing a complaint with the police department, he posed the stolen truck on the cafe's social media board, including images of the security footage and a man who stole it. He urged people to let him know if they had any leads. So here's the picture. I'm going to switch over to camera 4 so you can see it. So I don't know what kind of truck this is. They got weird trucks in New Zealand. That an American made. And it said, hey, man. Oh, I'll dive into that here in just one second. I got the letter from the thing. 4 days later, the truck reappeared exactly where Chada had left it. In a conversation with the New Zealand Herald, Chada said, the first time I thought I was losing my mind because I just walked inside a second time and I locked it up and it was parked right there. It says rocked up, but I don't think they meant that. Chada was stunned and immediately informed the police, and the truck was in the same condition it had been, only lost about a quarter of a tank of gas when returned, and the license plates were gone. Whoever stole the truck left some new toys for Chada's son in the truck, and also and also felt obligated for leaving an apology note. The note explained that the man who stole the truck needed a ride home since he was drunk. Can you imagine that? So for more on this story, let's see. There's a little video here. Let's see how cute this little video is. So here we go. Oh, of course, there's a.
Oh, hey.
Hey. Here we go.
When Varun Chada's truck was stolen from outside his Kati Street cafe, he couldn't believe it.
I thought I was maybe going crazy a bit because it was right there and then it was gone.
It was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He'd finished for the day and left the keys inside the van to pop back into the shop and grab something. As his neighbour's security cameras reveal the 5-minute window, enough time for this opportunist to strike. But he thought he was going crazy all over again when it showed up parked in the exact same spot 4 days later.
The first time I thought I was losing my balance because I just walked inside. And the second time I rocked up and it's just parked there, so yeah, it was...
Aliens.
Returned with an apology note, the offender claiming they were drunk and needed a ride home.
So the note, let me go back to the note. It says, hey man, brought your car back. Sorry mate, I was drunk and needed a ride home. Left your keys, locked the truck, and what's this say right here? I can't read out the scribble, but all right, let's continue with the story.
Needed a ride home, adding they left some new toys in the back for his young son. All that was missing was a quarter tank of gas and his number plates.
No damage to the car. They took the tent off, but they put the tent back on. So.
Seems like a very courteous thief.
Yeah. I mean, they could have sold the tent and some other stuff, but it's all in there. So.
I guess the tent.
What they did was
what's the tent?
Fine, but I mean, they gave it back, and they said sorry. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm stoked to get it back, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a very common thing. Let's go back to me now. So the guy was too drunk and had to borrow a guy. What kind of rules, what kind of Wild West story is going on over there in New Zealand? Hey, I'm too drunk to walk home. I'll just steal. Wink, wink. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Steals he's drunk from all night banger from the night before, binge drinking, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon he grabs the guy's truck and brings it home. And then look at it this way: look at the guy who stole it. Wakes up the next morning, or wakes up whenever he gets out of his stupor, goes out and goes, "Oh, crikey, that's not my car." No, Charlie, guess what? Charlie always gets a bad rap. No, Charlie, you brought that from the restaurant over there. You stole it from. I told you not to do it. Oh, right. So what I'm going to do now is I can tell he's got a son because there's a car seat in the back. And I'm assuming it's a boy because there's Cheerios all over the place, or what they call Tostios over there. You probably don't know what fucking Cheerios are. And I'll buy the little whippersnapper a knife. No, I won't buy him a knife. I'll get him something better, something like kids' toys. And brings it back, and nobody sees him because it's a cafe. It's a whole bunch of windows. Was he just kind of roll in like ghost style, like underneath the steering wheel, creeps out the side and drops it back off? Oh, well, so that's what happened there. It doesn't happen often, but I just don't understand. I'm too drunk to walk home. I'm going to steal your car and drive home. I guess the laws are pretty lenient there. Now, I know back in the 80s, there was a huge thing about baby being on board. Those yellow placard signs that you were sticking up in car windows, and then it got crazy, and then they started making jokes, and people saw money in their eyes. And they said, okay, now I'm a jogger. So there's a jogger on board. So they make a jogger on board. And whatever spectacle that you wanted, a Nintendo gamer player on board. And all this, right-wing leftists on board. And it was just all this crazy stuff on board. But how did that actual sign come to be? Because it got very jovial as far as everyone having one. I remember having one in my car from Mad Magazine, and it said, I think, "What me worried on board," or something like that. But here's the actual story of why these things came to be. So a lot of people think that those babies on board signs were just a signal to people that are driving around saying, hey, look, I've got a baby on board. I might be a little bit distracted. And you're like, you shouldn't be distracted. You should pay attention to what's going on the road in front of you. But apparently, this isn't the only reason why the baby on board exists. The parents have been left horrified in the fact that they didn't know by putting this baby on board sign, taking the TikTok user, Penogram Motorsport, the motorsport expert based in Northeast England. Of course, it starts over there. Ask, are you using your baby on board sign wrong? Do you realize how these things are supposed to work? The driving expert continues in saying that it is. Can I just see the video? Where's the video at? Can you just play me the video? Let's see if I can find the video, because I want him to explain it to me, because I honestly don't have the patience after today of how to read this sign. Let's see. Where we go? Add. TikTok. Let's see if he's got the... Oh, he's got 666 followers. Scary. Here it is. So I'm going to go back to the story. So it says, basically, are you using this wrong? The driver expert continues, is it there to say that I've got a baby on board? Or actually, this is not what it's used for. The expert continued, this sign is for emergency services. All right, on that note, I'm going to let him explain it. I'm going to go to camera 4 so you guys can see this in real time as we're talking about it here. So let's see what Motor City Madman, Pentagram Motorsports. Okay, that's why. Pentagram Motorsport. That's why he's got 666 followers. So here we go.
Sign wrong. Do you realise how these things are supposed to work? Do you know what the purpose of this sign is? Yeah, it's cute. And this one particularly has got some little animals on it. Is it there to say, I've got a baby in the car, therefore I might be distracted, babies being sick in the car seats and all that manner of thing? And yeah, I know the challenges of driving with kids in the car. But that's not actually what this is for.
What's it for?
You might not realise why leaving it suction cupped onto the rear window all of the time might be a problem. Because you're only supposed to have it suction cupped into the rear window whilst you've actually got a baby in the car with you. This sign isn't a sign to go, oh cute, I've got a baby with me. This also isn't a sign to other road users saying, my driving might not be up to standard because I might be slightly distracted. This is a sign to the emergency services. If they find your car crashed, they find you passed out in the car, they find that your car's rolled down a bank, and this is the sign they need to stay at the scene and look and find the baby that was on board. That's the purpose of this sign.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's morbid. So what he's saying, if you missed all the lingo and stuff, I'll translate for you. He said basically what you do is if you have a baby on board, you only put the sign up if you have a baby on board or baby in car or whatever. And if you, for whatever reason, I guess over in England, cars are just rolling off hillsides left and right. Wee, mommy. And the police show up or the emergency services show up and they find your body and they go to the car and there's a sticker on there that says there was a baby on board. They have to go look for the baby. Oh, there's another Charlie. Right. Put that thing down. There's a baby on board. We have to find the baby. Now, call me crazy. He said only when you have a baby on board is when that suction cup goes in the window, right? If you fall down an England mountainside, I'm pretty sure that little 2-inch silicone suction cup is not going to stay on the window. So what if you don't have a baby on board? You don't have it's sitting in your glove compartment or what they call it, not the boot. Yeah, let's put the boot. Not the boot, but inside the car. And you go tossing around and your body goes shooting out the window. And they see that, oh, crikey. England people. Right. So you had a baby on board. We couldn't find the baby. I didn't have the baby on board. But you had the thing in your car. No, I wasn't stuck to the window. Well, we can't tell. Your car's a fucking mash hole. Everything's all smashed up. So that's the reason why the baby on board sign was in the cars in the 80s. I guess they were having, like I said, a hard time of losing kids on mountainside crashes. So there you go. Baby on board. Now you're gonna look at it a little bit different now when you stick it on there, right? You're like going, ooh, all right, that's a little scary. When we come back, you know what's scary is that whole CEO shooting. I know it's been talked about over and over and over again, but there's a little bit more. There's an adjacent type story that goes about what happened when the guy got caught and the McDonald's where he actually was arrested at, and they're getting a lot of flack and stuff, and we'll dive into that story and what's going on there when we come back. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Well, we have something for you, and the way you can get it is go over to ProphetRadio.com. Proud sponsors of Deacon Live and all the other fine programming that we have here in the studio. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, Deacon Live Podcast, you can see all the silhouettes of all the banners and stuff of all the other different shows that are broadcast here out of the studio. And what you want to do is go over there, go to Free Swag. A little drop-down menu, you see all the different stuff that we have. We got some new stuff, some holiday stuff, so what we need to update that, or they need to update that, but just fill it out. It's not email grab or anything. It's just their way of saying thank you for all the support and stuff that comes out of the Prophet Radio studio. Now, let's see. This gentleman right here was just kind of hanging out in his backyard, digging some holes and stuff, and came across this stuff. We've seen it all before in movies. Someone who buries a stash of money during tough times with hopes of coming back to it to retrieve it in the future. A man discovers a wad of cash dating back to the Great Depression while excavating his lawn. Turns out that it happens in real life, which this couple in South Jersey learned firsthand when they dug up money dating back almost 100 years in their front yards. You'll have to see it to believe it. I'm going to switch over to camera 4 so you can see it. Yeah, it looks like the money from 100 years ago. It sure does. Not every day do you find a time capsule. Do you get a chance to open a time capsule from the past buried on your property? But that's exactly what kind of day this was for, if I can get away from these ads right here, from Richard Gleason, or Gilson, Gilson, and his wife Suzanne, when they found something interesting in their front yard this past July. Oh, look at them. They're a very nice couple. Look at them. He's probably going, shit, I was almost free and clear and I found this money. Now I got to split it with her. It all started when Gilson decided to excavate their front yard last month with no idea what they had unearthed. They had unearthed a piece of history in the form of old money. It first came glass. While digging, Rich began hitting glass and encountered what he thought were root balls. When Rich looked closer, he realized that the initial thought that they were root balls was actually money wrapped up in burlap sacks. There were about 2 burlap balls with money stuffed inside of them. They've been in a glass jar and that had since been broken. Way to go, Rich. Those jars could have been worth thousands. Each burlap money ball contained a rolled up 10s, 20s, in the amount of $1,000. They had dated from 1934 on all of them. The year of 1934 was the Great Depression. We have been in full swing, which puts us in perspective of how important things like this would have been to someone back then. Not to mention, you wouldn't believe how much that would be in today's dollars. The 1934 $2,000 would have been a whopping $40,000 in today's money. When Susan Gilson looked up the value of the $2,000 in 1934, she couldn't believe her eyes. It was it was like this person was burying $40,000. But who are they? Who buried this money? It turns out the story behind the money of the Gilsons managed to uncover that too. At first, Rich thought that might be tied up in some illegal activities in the 1930s. You get it, see? What if everyone talked like this in the 30s, see? But later soon learned the truth. The home was owned by a man named Jack Dempsey, who had instructed his daughter to bury the money. It wasn't from a haul from a bank robbery, as Rich first suspected, but actually money from a hardworking man who just wanted to put something away during the Great Depression. The only problem was, after the family buried it, they forgot the money where the money was located and couldn't find it. Finders keepers, right? Although it was not a massive amount of money, to the story behind it makes it very special. That's why Rich says he won't be spending it anytime soon. A lot of money is not life-changing to us. Baller. I know it was $2,000, but it's $2,000 American money, which it translated, it was the equivalent of being $40,000. The money itself is not worth $40,000. Back then, it was the value of what we... All right, you understand what I'm saying. The history of the fact is that the fella did this 90-something years ago. People are asking, what are you going to do with it? I'm certainly not going to spend it. Rich told ABC 6 News, I'm just going to stick it back in the ground. No, he didn't say that, but that's what... he found this money from the 1930s. Now, granted, it was all balled up. It was probably, covered in dirt and stuff. Way to go, Rich. Broke the glass. It was protecting it. But back then, times were different. People were literally, the jokes of, hiding your money in your mattress. It's true. And there's one thing that I worry about, like my mom, not that she would hide money or anything, but my mom had all these gowns and dresses and gowns and dresses. I didn't go through every pocket, every purse or whatever that we donated to a community service center. She could have had like jewelry and stuff in them. Who was to know? And ironically enough, the place that we donated all my mom's clothes, she must have had 500 gowns and dresses and purses and stuff. The place kind of went out of business. Maybe they found something. Maybe they found something of my mom's value, and they retired. They're like going, "Ooh, look, we're out of here, Martha. Come on, Charlie, let's go." Now, this person right here, you heard about the whole assassination. They're calling it an assassination. It was. The guy, professional or not, I'm not going to say the guy's name. He doesn't get any credit for it on my sense. He killed a man. I know you can go, well, you said Daniel Penny's name. This is totally different. This guy meant to kill the person. I'm just going to say his name's Luigi. So, you heard about, I think it was United something Healthcare. The CEO, only 50 years old, was shot and killed right in the center of, not New York City, but on the sidewalks of New York City with a silencer. And the guy got on an e-bike and took off. Couldn't find him. Couldn't do anything with him. He ended up, a couple days later, showing up at a McDonald's. I guess just carrying on his normal day routine. And someone in the McDonald's recognized him because they got all the photos, the video footage and everything. Recognized him from like news stories and stuff and called. So let's see. For more on this, let's dive into this. The United Healthcare CEO gunned down by a masked suspect. According to the police, the suspect was captured on security footage heading into Manhattan's Central Park on an electric bike immediately after the crime, and then taking a taxi to the bus station and fleeing the city. After a 5-day search, the suspect of the United Healthcare worker shooting, 26-year-old Luigi, was arrested on Monday on a gun charge at McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Man, he took that place far away. Thanks to the McDonald's employee who alerted the police after the customer spotted the suspect. Now, what's happened is, the same day that Luigi was taken into custody, multiple users flooded Google with negative reviews about that McDonald's where the location of the arrest occurred. These reviews were unrelated to the business. Instead, they were referring to political views, which some allegedly glorified the suspect for the crime and slamming McDonald's employee for calling the police. So this person, the McDonald's employee, called and said he's here. Now, everyone's hailing Luigi as a hero. I forget what they call it. Not an anti-hero. He's a hero. But he did bad things, kind of like Robin Hood, stealing and stuff. But so everyone was like, yay for him, the healthcare system and stuff. I'll get into my personal opinion as far as what's going on there, if you want to dive into conspiracy. But back to McDonald's. Although the negative McDonald's reviews might have gone on, people took to social media to express their thoughts on the United Healthcare CEO's murder and the fast food chain in the same sense. A user on X expressed his opinion in a matter of a posting. Of course, that's what we do here in America. And the posting says, the fact that the McDonald's worker snitched on Luigi is just the latest reason to hate McDonald's. No, really? Is that the only one? They hate working with the man to trying to outprice them of shitty fast food, and now turned on the person who did the right thing to do one of these garbage CEOs. All right, there you go. There's one. Another X post this following comment: the McDonald worker who ratted out Luigi can choke because if it was me, I would have given him free nuggets, burgers, and fries. So if he said he would have worked there, he would have gotten a free meal on him. And Lil Wing, if this is a guy who murdered someone, a CEO, and he comes in, he orders something, you just kind of slide everything over, you give him a wink, go, good job, Luigi, good job. You give him a little finger bang, like, I know what you're doing. Bang, bang, bang. Good job. But then now you're an accomplice, aren't you? Because you saw the guy. You could be arrested for that. Not only were McDonald's Google review bombarded, but also Yelp did as well. Now you say, all right, so what happens to the actual employee that called in and got the guy arrested, Luigi arrested? He gets a reward, right? Yeah, I think it was something around the effects of $60,000 for turning in the guy who did it. Yeah, that's what he's supposed to get. But unfortunately, the McDonald's worker who got Luigi arrested might not receive their $60,000 reward thanks to a sneaky loophole. I know, fucking hell, right? The person who identified the suspect of the United Healthcare CEO shooter, Luigi, is considered by the bulk of the American population to be a snitch. He allowed the police to capture the alleged shooter since Luigi currently boasts superhero status, that puts the McDonald's employee in a strange position. Assuming the police captured the right man, Luigi is soon to set forth trial for murder along with other several crimes. The shockingly attractive vigilante is charged with slaying of Brian Thompson, the billionaire CEO. Is he a billionaire? He only made like $10 million a year. He's not a billionaire. No, fuck that. He only makes, I think, $10 million a year, unless he's got like back stock or something like that. They consider him the most merciless health insurers of the United States. He was shot down a week ago in Manhattan. Okay, we knew all that. So let's find out. As such, a national outcry was met news that Luigi had been arrested. Most everyone was hoping that they can continue to evade the police, but an eagle-eye McDonald's employee ended up dodging the police. Employee ended his police dodging in one fell swoop. Upon recognizing Luigi from images spread by authorities, the employee decided to cash in on the promise of $60,000 and turn in the common man's hero. Unfortunately for them, that made them amongst the least popular people in the nation. Well, you know, you got to choose what side you want to stand on. You know, if I'm a shareholder on a healthcare worker, I want my healthcare business, I don't want to spend any money. On the opposite side of that, I want my healthcare community to take care of me if I'm sick. You know, we're getting into that. We're working on that. Believe me. Give us another month. We're trying. That's why we put this guy in office, because he has no political value, no political gain for doing this. That's where I was going with this. It's you got to wait. Give it a little bit more time. It'll work out. Believe me. And to be the least popular person might not be worth the $60,000 that is allotted to that person. The average person could be literally life-changing to some. But since the McDonald's narc may not have a penny of it, they should be entitled to 2 payments of $10,000 from the police for the reward that was promised soon after December 4th and the $50,000 from the FBI. The reward that was promised for delivering information on the shooter. So a loophole could see them walking away with absolutely nothing, the person that turned this person in. Unfortunately, for the employee, due to the typical technicalities of an establishment, this was explained by a 30-year-old trial attorney, Lawyer Lee. What a show. You'll see it on Netflix next year. Who took to social media to explain how legal loopholes and are manipulated to keep the reward money from even being dished out. Quote, in many cases, they do not pay at all. They avoid paying for as long as possible, she says. The $10,000 is a stipulate for calling the hotline that could be denied because 911 was called instead. All right. She added, shaving the first chunk of the caller's potential payout being the $10,000. Then there was the additional $50,000, which she also sees unlikely since the money is subject to review and technicalities are often used to avoid payment. In general, the FBI and similar agencies frequently bend over backwards to avoid promised payments, and Lawyer Lee is convinced that they'll do the same in this situation. So what they're saying is, and I'll break it down for all you potato heads out there. I am too, so don't worry. What they're saying is, the $10,000 and the $50,000. $10,000 because you called 911. Now it doesn't qualify. There was a tip line that you had to call, 1-800-HOT tips or something like that. Well, you didn't call that. You called 911. So you don't get that $10,000. It's a stipulation that they're saying. And then the second part is the $50,000. Okay, we got the guy, FBI guy. FBI is saying we got the guy, but you got to wait until the whole entire trial. Maybe this wasn't the right guy. We just got a guy. And then they're going to drag it out. So, Luigi goes to court. They find him not guilty. And now you're out the $50,000. Now, if they find him guilty, they're like going, well, we would have found him anyways. Here's a gift certificate for a big Happy Meal. But I fucking work here, sir. Well, give them to your friends. So it's those payouts. Are you in it for the payout? Fuck yeah, I'm in for the payout. There's a $500 payout. Look it up in whatever town you live in. The police department, especially this time of year, will give you $500 if you can prove the porch pirates and stuff. It's automatic $500. I know they do it in Orlando, Florida. I've got friends on there that do it all the time. I say do it all the time. They're not stealing packages, but they tell me, it's like, yeah, I turned in Joe, came home with some Amazon packages, and I got $500 for every Amazon package that was not addressed to him in my bank account. So that's out there too. So make a little money during the holiday season. Sure, go right ahead. Now this guy right here, when we come back, he says, I'm paying for this. I don't mind paying for this, but I'm not paying the taxes on it. And it's a guy from Canada. I thought they were the politest people in the world. Well, we'll find out his story when we come back. So stick around. You listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. I'm still not on Facebook. And you know what? I got 100 more days before my ban is lifted. I'm thinking that I'm doing pretty good without the Facebook thing. I'm not fighting with anyone. I'm calm. I'm collective. I'm more relaxed a little bit for the most part. My wife would say, no, you're not relaxed. But I am somewhat relaxed. I don't get into fights. I don't get into disputes and stuff. People, they want to post all their political stuff on there, and I fight with them back and forth. And you know what I do? I fight with them right here on the podcast. And you can be part of the podcast as well, and you can fight with me if you like. Go to prophetradio.com. At the top of the page says "Be Heard." Leave a message. It's not an email grab or anything. You can be anonymous if you want. How about that? You can be totally anonymous. Show up here on in our inbox, and we broadcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town we like to call Marshville. Yeehaw! We sit on about 22 acres, and we got about a population of 2,500 people. So this is where I'm at. I've moved from Orlando, Florida, and we're out here in the 6th, so this is what I do. And if you want to be part of it, you can be podcast famous by going to Prophet Radio and let me hear what your thoughts are. Now, for a long time before I moved up here to the beautiful town of Marshville, I used to work for Home Depot right out of high school, 20 years, on and off, part-time, full-time, part-time, you know, whatever it did to make ends meet. I never left. I kept my foot in the door at some time. But this person right here, and you meet a bunch of crazy people throughout your whole entire lifespan of 20 years of working for Home Depot. And this customer right here refuses to pay tax at Home Depot, just walks away saying playtime is over. The Home Depot staffer requests for individuals tax exemption number, which is which the individual declines. We used to get that all the time. If you had tax exempt numbers, like churches and political parties or religious groups or anything like that, they have a tax exempt number. So this person in Canada right now is causing a stir online because they went shopping at Home Depot and decided not to pay the sales tax. This person, who calls himself, his username is Leader of the Free World on TikTok. I went looking for him. His account's been taken down. I think he got a little bit more than he asked for. He shared this video with the caption, "Playtime is over." In the video shot inside a Home Depot store, the man shows viewers his bill totaling $521.81. He says $521.18 before taxes, and hands across sorry, I read a little too fast. He says $521.18. This was before the tax for the hands across Canada. Look at it. I'm dropping money for hands across Canada. The cashier asks, "Ready now?" The man replies, "No, hold on." Counts out the cash in front of the camera. After paying for the total without the tax, he picks up the camera and points it at the employee and says, "Now, how do you feel? Now, do you feel free to call your manager?" Oh, hold on. "Now, you can feel free to call your manager. Do what you like," he says. "There's the money. I refuse to pay the tax. I'm part of the Hands Across America Axe the Tax." Is there a big problem in Canada with tax and stuff? I guess the Conservative Party of Canada is running the Axe the Tax campaign. They oppose the carbon tax because they feel that at the time when living expenses are already high, it's driving up the cost of goods like gas, groceries, and heating. However, there is something misunderstanding over here. The Hands Across Canada, which appears to be a different campaign, opposes the carbon tax. The Home Depot staffer requests an individual tax exemption number. However, the individual declines the claim. They have no loyalty to the king or queen. They keep saying that they didn't need a receipt because they'd already paid enough. As they walk out the door, the employee tries to stop them, pushing the cart toward the exit. The person corrects the employee, calling them "ma'am," and then calls for management loudly. "Ma'am," he says before shouting, "Management! I need management immediately. I need management right now. Please move out of the way, ma'am. She's looking. Look, she's jumping in the way. Leave it. Put the fucking money there," he says. "She can't do anything. It's not your job. You don't have the authority to do that, ma'am." They get frustrated, feeling like the employee is overstepping their authority. Leaving the store, the person looks back at the camera, visibly shaken, and then says, "And that's how you do it." Many people have shown their support for the man in the comment section, saying that, "You the man, such respect." Hope the whole country follows suit. So I don't want to say that I know anything that goes on in Canada. Does anyone here in the United States know anything about Canada at all? I mean, we were up there for a little bit. We went to Vancouver. 2 takeaways from Vancouver. You can buy weed and edibles just about every corner. And there is a lot of, I guess they lifted some kind of rule where you can buy it for any drug at all. You can buy it for individual use and use it and pass out on the street and crap your pants. And the cops can't say anything. It's not a homeless issue. You might have a home. You just want to shoot some heroin and fentanyl right there in the alleyway and pass out on the sidewalk. They can't do anything about it. And that's one of the things that they said that's getting the worst. Not the weed stores. It's the other stuff that they lifted. I guess it was part of the same package when they voted for everything. Yes, we can have weed stores, but you can't get arrested for anything that's less than personal use. So if you got a gram or whatever of cocaine or crack or whatever you guys, whatever the audience, your drug of choice uses, I guess you can't get arrested there. And that's what's happening. So Canada, it's going to be the new California for the most part. But this guy right here, hold on. But this angry man in Utah wasn't going to take no for an answer. This gentleman right here drives his newly purchased car through the dealership door after they denied him for a refund. All right, so let's dive into this knucklehead story and figure out why he's wrong or right, and your opinion as well. Well, they're definitely not going to take back the car now. Obviously, buying a car can be a frustrating process, but if you sit around long enough with a slick-talking salesman and try to negotiate and get a few $100s knocked off the payment price, and you sit there the whole entire time wondering what's wrong with the used car and why the guy's so excited to get you to sign the bottom line, it's not exactly fun. But what is fun is at the end of your lease agreement, or at the end, at the end, at least you get a new car, probably an inexpensive monthly payment, or a very expensive monthly payment out of the whole entire experience. All right, let's figure this one out. But apparently, this guy in Utah didn't really care for his new ride after driving it off the lot. A wild video from Tim Dahl Mazda in Southtown in Sandy, Utah, shows a man driving his car straight through the front door and into the dealership after apparently being refused to refund the vehicle. According to the police, the man was later identified as 35-year-old Michael Lee Murray, had been in the dealership earlier that day to buy a Subaru Outback. All right, hold on. There's a lot of flaws in that story. A man buying a Subaru Outback for his wife, daughter, him? Weird. It's Utah. They do a lot of weird things out there. But after getting it home, he apparently wasn't happy with the condition of the car and tried to return it for a full refund. But the dealership informed the less than satisfied customer that the car has been sold as is and would not be getting a full refund. So Murray warned them that he was going to take matters into his own hand. A quote saying that Murray returned to request his money back and return the vehicle that he had bought. However, the staff advised Murray that he bought the vehicle as is and the vehicle could not be returned in exchange for his money back. Murray told the manager that since they are not giving him his money back, he would drive the car into the front, right through the front doors. So the video shows a man take direct aim at the dealership front doors before flooring it and driving it straight through the door, running over the front desk in the process, hopping out and walking back through the now missing door saying, "I warned you, huh? I told you, you motherfuckers." I mean to be fair, but he did warn them, I guess. Shocked employee shut off the car and making it sure that nobody was hit and quickly called the police on the wild side. So let me see. If you want to see this video in real time, I'm going to switch over to camera 4 because it's exciting. You know, it's always exciting. So let's see what actually... Are we on camera 4? Yeah, here we go. So this is the actual incident. The guy brought in his Subaru Outback. Oh, Jesus Christ! Holy shit is... I told you, motherfuckers.
Whoa, call the cops!
Call cops! Play it one more time.
Whoa.
Now, this guy who bought this car, he doesn't look like he's an Outback kind of purchaser. He doesn't look like he's a Subaru Outback, like he's going to be hiking anywhere. He barely got out of the car without his clothes, his gym suit falling off of them. But isn't there something? I believe there's a 3-day rule. Yeah, I take that back. That's only if they approach you. You approach them, so you went in there initially to buy that item. If you get a phone call, say, hey, I'll sell you a Subaru Outback for $16,000, and you buy it then and there, I think there's a law saying that you've got 3 days to change your mind because they approached you rather than you approached them. What the deal was, I don't know, but that was a little extreme. But isn't the Outback community, the Subaru Outback community, extreme in itself? Yep, that's what they bring in. We should ban those cars as well. All right, when we come back, 2025, what the fuck? What the fuck, 2025? It's already starting. And I'll dive into that story when we come back. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And the only thing we have right now going for us, because I'm not part of Meta anymore, is TikTok. And you can see all the different podcasts that I'm involved with, all the different podcasts that are available through the Prophet Radio website. And that's TikTok at Be Podcast Famous. You can see all the little bits and clips over there as well. We're also on YouTube. Search Deacon Live Podcast over on our YouTube channel, and you can see all the stories in real time as we're talking about it here on the air. You can also see me here in the studio. I'm sporting my Long Island, New York hat, just because I haven't had a haircut in a couple days or so. So I'm trying to keep it under wraps. And you can also find us over on, where else can you find us? YouTube, TikTok, and the website. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. Until Facebook decides to lift my ban, but yeah, who cares right now? They're not doing very well. But this year, speaking of not doing very well, we are wrapping up the year. Thank God for that. We have a new year, a new outlook on life as far as what's coming up. We have a new president taking over. Whether you like him, whether you hate him, it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping that he does a lot of things that he says, not like the last guy who kind of was like trying to wrap everything up at the end of his term or before the election or whatever to get votes, and then he failed and someone else stepped in and goes, "Oh, I'm the new host of the country." And then when you bring a new host into the country, they fail and then they go back to their role. I'm hoping that this whole healthcare system will be taken care of here. But 2025 is going to be different. I swear to you, it's going to be different. But some people, if they want to say there's mojo out there, some bad juju out there, if you look at the calendar right now, the calendar for 2025 starts on a Wednesday. Social media users are concerned about the 2025 after noticing that beginning of the year starts on a Wednesday. And it shares the same similarities with 2020 or 2020. And you say, why? I say this is why. What will the new year hold for us? We can only hope that things are good to come, but you can tell us towards the end of the show. We can only hope good things will come our way. While many of us are out holiday shopping and busying our lives with the holiday season and commitments, the social media users are already looking ahead to contemplating the uncertain future of the world. One thing eagle-eye users on the internet have found unsettling in the 2025 calendar was the cryptic premonition. January 1st, 2025 falls on a Wednesday, followed by Thursday, and then the 3rd on Friday. And do you know what that means? If you put them all together, it symbolizes WTF, or in parlay speak is what the fuck. Is the universe telling us for something to embrace ourselves? Really? What the fuck? You're going to see this all over the place on your Facebook network, on all that stuff. I'm going to switch to camera 4 here so you can see it. So here's January 1st on Wednesday, January 2nd on Thursday, and then January 3rd on a Friday. Now, when I was working, I worked in the restaurant business for about 30 days. Yeah, I had about enough of that, but I learned my lesson. When we wrote the calendar out, when we wrote the days of the week out, you put Saturday, you put Sunday. The week started on Sunday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday was always an R for some reason. Not to get confused with Tuesday, but then Saturday and Sunday were SA and SU. So, I don't know. I just remember Thursdays was always an R, and I got used to writing it that way when I had to write the schedule out for people. And even today, if I write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I put an R for Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday. So normal calendars has, WTF, what the fuck? All right, well, there you go. What the fuck? But we are still in the holiday season. And Taylor University, if you're not familiar with them, it's a small university outside of the town of Taylorsville. I don't know, I'm making this shit up. But they do something very special. And I'm a big basketball fan. And this is a 30-year, we're learning about it now, 30-year tradition that they do. It's called the Silent Night Basketball Game. And for more on this, I'm going to switch over to camera 4 so we can see this in real time and we can all be friends. So here we go.
Here, America Strong. Have you ever seen a basketball game this silent? Tonight in Upland, Indiana, north of Indianapolis, it's the Christmas tradition at Taylor University. Every year, the big game and one very silent night. Since 1997, nearly 30 years now, the students gathering at their home game right before finals, singing Christmas songs together before the game.
Everyone's all dressed up. Hold on. Everyone's all dressed up. They got like groups of people dressed up in like characters. 4 buddies will dress up like bumblebees. 4 guys will dress up like the Grinch. The whole entire place is fucking packed. And it's like a high school gymnasium. This place is packed. There's people standing on the floor. There's nowhere to move in this place.
But once the game begins, total silence. Not a creature stirring. Just listen.
You imagine that?
Not a sound from the stands until the 10th point scored by the team. And then the school erupting into cheers, running to the court.
Everyone.
And in the last moments of the game, the students, the professors, the whole university singing Silent Night together.
Imagine that. Oh, that's awesome. We're trying to play basketball here.
Here tonight. Hey, David. The Taylor University men's basketball team on a Christmas tradition that continues.
Silent Night's a 27-year tradition that's been going on here at Taylor for a night full of fun and hoops. Thanks again for shining the spotlight, and go Trojans.
So, we're trying to play ball here. Pay attention, everyone.
Christmas tradition.
I'll tell you what, 30 years strong, they've been playing this game. And as soon as the ball tip off, nobody makes a noise. Nobody makes a peep. Nobody makes a sound until the home team, Taylor University, scores 10 points. And then everyone rushes the court. Now you got to delay a game. You got to get everyone back in the stands. And then they play the regular basketball, and then what do they say? The last quarter, they sing, or the last 5 minutes or 2 minutes. I missed all that. There was too much going on. They sing Silent Night for the last whatever moment of the game. Interesting. And people are going to come out of the woodworks. Oh, you shouldn't preach, religion, Christmas. Where's the Hanukkah stuff? Where's the Kwanzaa stuff? Yeah, they're having a good time over there at Taylor University. All right, guys, on that note, make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and that's over at TikTok, Be Podcast Famous. Make sure you follow us on YouTube as well at DeaconLive Podcast. Give us a subscribe over there. And also, if you have any questions or if you want to get something for free, go to profitradio.com and you can see all that information over there. All right, guys, I'm going to let you get back to doing what you got to do. My name is the Deacon, saying good night and good night.
Wait, come back. This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
It's my hat. It's my hat. You want to see what it all? That's what it looks like. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's raining outside. It's so cold. So cold. See you later, guys. Bye.